Alright, what is up guys, JaretCampisi. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a walk around and overview of my brand new 2020 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. I'm super excited, I hope you are too. Sit back, relax, enjoy the video. Okay, so first things first, this is actually the next bike we're going to be customizing and giving away. The build is going to be starting right now. Manny's sending parts out. It's actually going to go alongside the S1000RR. So the way it'll work is if you're supporting on Patreon, anytime I put up an S1000RR video, get entries towards that. Anytime I put up a Street Fighter, get entries towards that. So basically you're getting double entries if you're supporting right now. S1000 should be done next month, and then we'll give that away probably first week in June, and then it'll just be the Street Fighter by itself from there on out. So let's talk about the Ducati Streetfighter V4S, probably one of the most anticipated bikes of the past couple of years. What is it? So it's basically a naked Panigale V4, and what we mean by naked is there's no fairings. If you look down at the bike, all the fairings have been basically stripped off, but it is basically still a naked V4 Panigale. So that means same motor, 1103cc Desmo Sedici Stradale motor, cranking out 208 horsepower. It is tuned slightly different, so you do get a little bit more low down grunt, about 10% more torque, and about 214 horsepower for the V4 Panigale, and like I said, 208 for this one. So it's not much different, which is pretty scary considering this doesn't have fairings. So you have no wind protection at all. One of the things that they did do is they added these winglets. So when you do a naked bike, you're sitting more upright, so you have less weight on that front tire. And in order to rectify that, they ended up having to add winglets. One of my good buddies, Carlin, who was helping design this bike, told me that one of the main issues he was having with his race bike is not getting enough feel in the front end, and that's why they decided to add those winglets. I do think on a V4S model, this one comes in at $24,000. I think those winglets should be carbon fiber, and I think the front and rear plastic pieces should also be carbon fiber. Speaking of the S model, what do you get for the S? You get lightweight forged aluminum Martesini wheels. So you can see those bad boy, they're absolutely gorgeous. They save about 5 pounds, I believe. You get a lightweight lithium ion battery, which is up here in the front. And then you also get full Öhlins front and rear suspension, electronically controlled. You can see the electronics coming off that bad boy. It is the EC 2.0 smart system from Öhlins, which means you can control everything from the dashboard, which is really cool. It's event-based. There's too much to talk about when it comes to that, but it's really, really nice. Next, I want to show you the riding position, because I think that's one of the biggest differences from the Panigale. Basically, when you do a naked bike, you want it to be more comfortable, okay? So one of the ways they do that is, instead of being clip-ons where the bars come off of the forks, now you have a regular handlebar position. So you can see it puts me up a lot higher. The cool thing about this bike is they're very wide. So when you're sitting here like this and you're riding, you feel very in control. And another reason you feel in control is because the seat height is actually a tiny bit higher than on the Panigale V4. So for shorter riders, you're gonna have problems, because you can see I'm 5'10", and I can't flat foot this bike. I'm getting, the balls of my feet on the ground, which is fine for me, but it is pretty high on the seat height. And another reason for that, if you look at the seat, they did add some more padding on this. So again, this is something that they want you to be able to ride every day. And so they want the seat to be comfortable. It is very comfortable, and so is the rear passenger seat. I still wouldn't put anyone on here that isn't bigger than Christina, or that is bigger than Christina, because I just think it'd be a pretty rough ride. So next, let's talk a little bit about the electronics in this bike, which is another highlight of the bike. So in order to do that, we'll just go ahead and turn the dash on. It is the same 5-inch TFT display from the Panigale V4. It is the second evolution of that, which means it's the same as the V4S model for 2020. What that means is you're getting, check out these rider modes, guys. Hold the button down, I go into the rider mode. So you got race, which is for the racetrack or when you're being crazy on the street. You got sport mode, which is your good like day-to-day sporty riding, and then you have street mode. And look at all of these electronics. Ducati traction control, ABS, that also includes ABS on turns, Ducati wheelie control, Ducati slide control, which means you can slide the rear tire and decide how much you allow it to slide out. Also has Ducati engine brake control, quick shifter up and down, which means you can quick shift up and down without using the clutch, and it has dynamic electronic suspension controls, which means you can go in there, change it. It's all event based, and you can change all of these things, which is really, really nice. The dashboard will go black whenever it gets dark at night. When it's light during the day, it stays that white color, and look at how absolutely stunning that dash is. Super cool. Over here you can get into these settings just by pressing the other controller here on the toggle switch, and you can change any of these on the fly, which is really, really nice. I've been riding mainly in sport mode, and I can tell you guys, this thing is an absolute freaking monster. So I want to come back to the styling for a minute, because it is one of the most important parts of any bike in my opinion, and I do think they did a really good job overall with the styling. One of the things they spent a lot of time on was this front headlight, and they said that this was inspired by the Joker, and the reason that they said that is because it kind of has that Joker face, low and lean, mean and pulled down, and then they said it's supposed to be a bike that you can ride really easy and comfortably at you know, low speeds, and then the split personality, when you take it to a track, it becomes insane. And I can confirm that, because when you start ripping on this thing, it does get a little bit crazy. But I'll have teens turn on the front headlight there for you. It does have a daytime running light. Look at how freaking badass that is, guys. The headlights are awesome. Do you want to flick the so basically the running light is when this is like that, and then the regular light without the high beam, this just gets brighter, and then if you hit the high beams, it turns on the two at the bottom there. Which, teens, you know how to use the high beams? There you go. Look at that. Oh, okay, perfect. So there you go. There's the freaking headlight design. I think that looks super, super cool. Again, I'm not crazy about winglets, but I understand that they have to be there. Again, I would have preferred if these were carbon. The other thing I'm not crazy about is all the stuff hanging off of the bike. So we're gonna absolutely get rid of all these mirrors here. The turn signals are gonna go. We're gonna have ones that wrap around the bar. Manny's already sending stuff like that out here. And then if you come around to the side, I think that they did a pretty good job with how everything is showing. Like this part down here looks super cool. You know, there's a lot of stuff that you have to hide, and I think they did a really good job hiding a lot of it. Even this looks really cool. We're gonna do a dry clutch on this. You can also do a wet clutch, but we're gonna do the V4L dry clutch. And then the exhaust, I mean, it's big, it's a little bit out of place. Again, I would have had this black and this black, but overall it still works and it looks nice. The foot pegs are pulled slightly down a little bit, so it's not quite as aggressive as the V4S Panigale.
Single-sided, which
Single-sided swing arm, which gotta be there.
Loading.
Yeah, on both models, which is really cool. And then again, I personally wouldn't put people in the back, so I'd remove these, and I would remove this and use the single cowl. And then of course this they have to have by regulation. That will go immediately. Manny's already got, yeah, Manny's already got one coming from NRC for the back there. But again, overall, I think this bike looks absolutely incredible. Teens, you want to start it up for him? Give him a little
I can touch the ground, I can't.
Hey, I'll be honest, I think this exhaust sounds better than the Panigale, because it's a little bit lower and it has a little bit more of a growl to it. And I'm gonna be very interested to see how this sounds with the Acura system. But do you want to give him a quick start up here, teens? Okay. It's in gear, so put that in neutral.
Sorry, neighbors.
So the cool thing about it is when it's just chilling and you give it like low revs, it sounds like a twin. I'll let you hear it, just really low. Even less, let us see. See how it sounds like a twin? And then if you give it a little bit higher revs, then it turns into that V4 beast. You can turn it back off, there you go. Try not to be too loud here with our neighbors. But yeah, there you go, guys. There's an initial walk around overview, first impressions of the bike. I'm gonna do an entire first ride video separate. I just didn't want it to be 30 minutes long. But overall, I think the bike is really, really good. Again, this is one of the most anticipated bikes for 2020, and I would say even for the past couple of years, and it has not disappointed. If you saw my taking delivery video, we had an absolute blast with it on the way home from Beverly Hills Ducati, and it was pooping all over our C8 Corvette. But yeah, it's a really, really great bike. There are some things about it I don't like, but they're few and far between, and I'll save that for the first ride video. Again, guys, if you want to watch the build series with this bike and watch the journey with it, be sure to check out the Patreon page, support the project, should be entered to win it when we're done. It's always linked in the description below. Be sure that you like the video if you enjoy what we're doing here, subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.